Hello and welcome to Affinity. When working with images, default color model you use is red, green and blue, RGB, and you get used to thinking in those colors. However, just to be confusing, there's also CMYK and some others, but CMYK is useful because it's like the reverse of red, green and blue, but with cyan, magenta and yellow as the secondary colors and K as black. However, wouldn't it be nice if you could stick to red, green and blue, but it's useful to have that separating out of the blacks, so you can do things like, change the tone without affecting the color. Well, here's a way of having your cake and eating it. So I hit Ctrl J 4 times there. I'll call the top one red, R for red, next one G for green, B for blue, and W for white. And we'll just adjust these and make them into those channels. And the way we do this is we start off with, this is say 1 pixel, and we've got red, green and blue in an amount of those, and they mix together to form the color of that pixel. However, what you can do here is if you could snip off the bottom of that just for this pixel, the bits that are common to these, what if you could put those together? Because when you got red, green and blue all equal, then you have a grayscale color. So you're almost like there's a grayscale color here, then the variation on top to make the actual color. So if you could then put another bit on top, so each of red, green and blue is made of 2 parts. This bit, which is common to all of them, and this bit. And this bit's simply calculated as B, which is the whole size, minus this minimum of all of them, which is the same across here. You'll see how it works now. So for red, the trick here is go to Filters and Apply Image. And now I can say use current layer as source, click equations, and I can put in formulae, just like you do in like Excel spreadsheets. And so I say the destination red is the source red minus, notice to go red here, which means it's not usable, min for minimum of SR, SG, SB, close brackets. And I'm going to select that minimum there and hit Ctrl C because I'm going to use this a lot. This is just going to be the red channel, so I can say 0 for green and 0 for blue, leave A for alpha there untouched because that's about transparency and we're not worried about that. Then apply. So you can see in here we've got red where all the reds are. There's no red in the sky, so that's pretty much black. So I'll take that off here, and I will then say for greens, filters, apply image, use the current layer as source, equations, red is now 0, green is minus, and I can just paste in that minimum of red, green and blue, and take out the blue. So here's the greens. So now there's variation in the sky with this. Not much in the castle, remember, which is mostly red, and some across, of course, in the greenery down here. Apply that. And I'll make that, turn that off so I can see for the blue. Again, filters, apply image, same principle again. And we can have 0 reds, 0 greens, and the blues SB minus and the minimum. So here's the blues. Guess what? There's variation there in the sky, not a lot of blue down here. So apply that. Remember, of course, this is also going to sit on top of that white scale, so the variation of blue does actually is controlled in that. So turn that off, go to my W for white scale and filters, apply image, and use current layer as source, equations. Then for this, just paste in the minimum, which is going to be the same for each one, which gives us our grayscale image, in which you've got those common amounts in each channel here, red, green and blue, which is, you know, and it is white because look, the clouds are whiter there, so you get more white up there and less down here. So apply this. And the advantage of this is that we've now separated out the monochrome element from the color element. So I can click on red, green and blue. But if I click on the red one and shift click down to the blue there, and now change this to add, then I've got back my original image. In fact, I can shift click on the top and shift click to the bottom, hit Control G, and I can call this one RGBW. If I turn that off, the layer underneath is exactly the same, which is the original. So I can now adjust the red, green and blue, but not the normal RGB, but the RGB with it's separated out. So if I turn off the W, for example, I turn off the bottom layer, turn off the W, now I've just got these are the color elements up here, but with the white now added. And I can do things like go to the white here, go down here, put in curves, and now I'm adjusting just the tones, just the lights and darks without affecting the colors. So I can play around here, put in a bit of contrast and so on, and notice the colors stay the same. I'm not shifting them as you might normally. And then you can adjust reds, greens and blues separately. So if I could go to the reds, for example, let's put in the curves, just turn up the reds there and you'll get the red affected like that. So there we go. If you like, it's a new color model, RGBW, kind of the opposite of CMYK, but a lot easier to think about. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.